Welcome to Linda's TV show. If it is your first time of stopping by, you like the channel and the video, please subscribe and put on your notification bell so that you will be able to know when I upload a new video. In this channel, I bring to you information across the globe, what is happening in the world, especially Nigeria. So after watching the video, your opinion, your contribution is highly needed. Do it constructively in the comment section as we are going to watch this video together. Yes, I'm watching it together with you. Then later, we'll come to the comment section to discuss about it. Remain blessed as we watch.
Back in Nigeria, I'm grateful for the opportunity to spend time with President Buhari, with the Vice President as well. And as I was saying, it's a particular pleasure to visit in person. I actually was in Nigeria virtually as part of the first trip that we did, virtual trip that we did to Africa some months ago, but nothing replaces being here. And as we've been saying, if we're not quite yet face-to-face, at least we're mask-to-mask, and that's important. Nigeria touches us every day in America through the amazing power of its diaspora. Musicians, writers, artists, entrepreneurs, athletes enrich our lives, make them more interesting, more rewarding, and we're grateful for that as well. Our meetings today, the engagements that I'll have throughout my time here in Nigeria, reflect the depth of this partnership of now more than 6 decades, and the way that our collaboration is vital, and maybe more vital than ever, to tackling shared challenges and actually delivering results for our people, which is what our responsibility really is. Let me just touch on a few of the issues that we've been talking about today and where our cooperation is especially important. First, we're working together to beat back COVID-19 and to build back better as we address the devastating impact that it's had on all of us, on our communities, on our economies. The United States has delivered 7.6 million doses of safe, effective vaccines to Nigeria, and we expect to send another significant number of doses by the end of the year, donated with no strings attached. And we're providing significant aid to save lives right now, from the more than 150 testing labs that we've helped to set up nationwide, to helping tackle the food security crisis that was worsened by the pandemic. We have teamed up for a long time to confront epidemics and to improve public health. In that sense, this is not new. The United States and others worked with Nigeria toward eliminating wild polio virus, supporting vaccination campaigns, aiding surveillance to detect and isolate cases. That collaboration was key to the country being certified free of the virus in August of 2020. That's a huge achievement. American assistance is helping to bring treatment to more than 1.5 million people in Nigeria living with HIV/AIDS, and we're on track for epidemic control by 2023. Our support for primary health care helps provide vital services to more than 60 million Nigerians. These and other efforts have helped create a robust infrastructure for Nigeria's COVID-19 response, and broader efforts to strengthen public health security, which are essential to detect and prevent the next pandemic. Second, we're working with Nigeria to build back better from the pandemic by fostering inclusive, sustainable economic growth. That's the goal of the $2 billion development agreement that Jeffrey and I just signed, and which will make, I think, significant investments in improving access to quality education, public health, and other services and tools that Nigeria's rising generations are looking for and need to thrive here at home and in a global economy. And we're committed to working with the government as it pursues economic reforms, for example, to create a more stable regulatory environment to attract more foreign investment. Third, we're working together to address the global climate crisis. The Foreign Minister and I were both just at COP26, where President Buhari made significant new commitments to join the Global Methane Pledge and build on the progress that Nigeria has made in solar power. This is crucial as more and more Nigerians feel the impact of the crisis, something the President, I must say, talked about very eloquently when we were together a short while ago. And people displaced, people who have lost connections with their livelihoods as a result of climate change, among other disruptions. Our work together also demonstrates how tackling this crisis represents an opportunity, a once-in-a-generation's opportunity to create good-paying jobs and expand renewable energy access. The USAID has a 5-year, $110 million project, the Nigeria Power Sector Program, and that's supporting key initiatives like the Solar Power NEJO, which will bring solar energy to 25 million Nigerians who are off the electric grid and lack access to power. That, in turn, is expected to create as many as 250,000 new jobs in the energy sector, spur local industry, generate $18.5 million in annual tax revenues. So it will have practical, meaningful effects. Fourth, we're working with Nigeria to address security challenges, including those posed by Boko Haram, ISIS West Africa, and other terrorist and extremist groups. In meetings with the President, with the Vice President, with the Foreign Minister, we discussed the importance of a comprehensive approach that builds effective security forces, addresses the underlying drivers of extremism, and respects Nigerians' basic human rights. The United States is committed to helping Nigeria do that by continuing to invest in our security partnership and the institutions that strengthen the rule of law and that hold accountable those who commit human rights abuses, corruption, and other acts that harm the Nigerian people. By tackling these issues, we can help to address some of the problems that have been key drivers of insecurity. To that end, let me say that we welcome the conclusion of the investigation by the Independent of Inquiry established by the Lagos State government to look into the events that took place near Lekki toll gate in Lagos in October of 2020. This, of course, was amidst the NSAR's protests, including the killings and other alleged abuses by the security forces. We anticipate and look to the state and the federal government's response to the findings and expect those to include steps that ensure accountability and address the grievances of the victims and their families. We're also working closely with Nigeria to help the populations most affected by conflict and violence in the country, particularly in the Northeast, where the United States is providing vital humanitarian aid to approximately 2.2 million internally displaced Nigerians. The United States continues to build the capacity, together with Nigeria, of the military, including through the recent delivery of 12 A-29 Super Tucano aircraft. But capacity building goes much deeper than delivering military hardware, something that we talked about as well. We're also providing more human rights and rule of law training because military and civilian security forces are more effective when they act in accordance with these values and because it's crucial that Nigeria hold accountable members of the military who commit abuses. Journalists, human rights defenders, and others in Nigeria's very vibrant civil society are playing a vital role in shining a spotlight on these and other issues. Their ability to exercise freedom of expression and other basic human rights is crucial to advocating for individuals and communities and strengthening this country's vibrant democracy, as we've seen in the successful efforts to promote electoral reform and lower the age at which Nigerians can run for office. I look very much forward to meeting several of these leaders tomorrow, including faith leaders who are diffusing communal tensions and promoting peace. And we look forward to Nigeria, Africa's largest democracy, joining the Summit for Democracy next month. All participants, from government to civil society, will make commitments to improve and strengthen democracy in our respective countries and strengthen the partnership among democratic nations. The range of issues that we're working on together is vast, but given the interests we share and the challenges we have in common, delivering for our people demands that we find ways to deepen our existing ties and partnerships even further. That's ultimately what this visit and the work that we're doing every single day between our governments, between our people, that's what it's all about. Lastly, let me just say one brief word about yesterday's events in Sudan. The United States is deeply concerned by the violence used by the Sudanese military against people engaged in peaceful protest, which reportedly killed more than a dozen civilians and wounded scores more. The military must respect the rights of civilians to assemble peacefully and express their views. And we continue to support the demand of the Sudanese people for the restoration of the civilian-led transition, including the return of Prime Minister Hamdok to office and the immediate release of all of those detained since October 25th. With that, thank you. With regard to the first question, I've seen no evidence that any of the weaponry that was originally provided to the Afghan security forces over 20 years and then wound up in the hands of the Taliban after the Afghan government and military forces imploded in Afghanistan. I've seen no evidence that any of that weaponry has been transferred to any other group. And I might add, the most significant terrorist group that is present and active in Afghanistan, ISIS-K, is for the Taliban a mortal enemy, and indeed ISIS-K has been engaged in attacks against the Taliban, against Christians in Afghanistan, against other groups, and so again I've seen no evidence of that. Second, with regard to human rights, let me say a few things. First, as the Foreign Minister was saying, and as I just noted, we stand strongly for human rights at home and abroad, and that means, among other things, ensuring that governments are protecting the right of assembly, of free speech, and in that context, of course, in Nigeria, we had the NSARS protests, the actions taken by security forces, the alleged abuses, which have now been investigated by these panels that were established at a state level, and very important to provide that accountability, to provide that transparency, and, depending on the conclusions of the reports, to take action to, as necessary, reform the security forces, to hold accountable any of those responsible for human rights abuses, and to do that again in full transparency. And so we'll look to the states here as well as to the national government to do that when the reports are published. More broadly, in everything that we're doing together in partnership with Nigeria, human rights is, of course, a feature. And we were discussing as well, and you heard the Foreign Minister talk about this too, when it comes to security assistance that we're providing. We want to make sure, together with Nigeria, that the assistance we provide is used in a way that fully respects the human rights of every Nigerian. And as I think the Foreign Minister said very eloquently, along with providing hardware, we are also working together on the software to make sure that those using the military equipment that we provide are trained, are steeped in the laws of armed conflict, bring to bear the absolute necessity of doing everything possible to avoid, for example, civilian casualties when that hardware is used. So that also infuses all of the work that we're doing in partnership with Nigeria. Thank you. Look, first and foremost, our engagement in Africa, with Africa, our partnership with Nigeria, with many other countries, is not about China or any other third party. It's about Africa. It's about working together to make the investments in Africa, make the investments in its people, and ultimately to ensure that across the board we help create the conditions so that there are truly, ultimately African-led solutions to any of the challenges that Africa faces. But our support, I think, can be critical in doing that. When it comes to infrastructure.
For always watching Linda's TV show. I will see you again in my next video. Remain blessed. I appreciate each and every one of you, and keep on watching Linda's TV show. If you have not yet subscribed, please, I beg you to do that so that you'll be getting more updates from me. Bye-bye.